The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors Network.
You've tuned into the Hollow Chronicles.
Continue with the operation. Unit 5 and ready.
Yo, Josh, what's up?
Yo, Andy, what's happening?
Oh, my goodness. First of all, happy Mother's Day, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I will pass it along to my mother and my wife. How was your Mother's Day?
Man, the last 48 hours at my house have been absolutely bananas. My oldest just turned 13.
Teenager.
We had 12 yards of dirt dropped off in our front yard, and I shoveled all that and leveled out the front yard. We're getting sod. I'm sore as heck. My youngest brother is about to have his first baby any freaking minute now. Plus we got around to both sides of the families and celebrated moms. So it's been absolutely nuts. And I feel like sitting here talking to you is going to be a nice little calm to the weekend that I can finish on.
Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. And while
how was your weekend?
Same, except minus the 12 yards of dirt and any of my siblings having offspring. Other than that, pretty hectic.
Substitute that out for some boat time, right?
Yeah, a little bit of boat time, a little bit of family time, a little bit of sun time. Up here in the Northwest, we're getting like some, very odd weather, while the rest of the country is getting like very cooling temperatures where they're like, oh, I can't believe it's 50, in May or 40. And we're getting like 80-degree weather in May in the Pacific Northwest. That is completely uncommon. And
as I sit here, Josh, my back is sunburnt,
which we only need about 5 minutes of direct UV to get sunburnt here in the Northwest. They don't call it a tan. They call it rust, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we should probably say welcome to the Hollow Chronicles. Glad to have you here. Just super awesome. Again, there. Cheers to you. And thanks for joining us. Again, we're part of the Beyond the Blast Doors Network. We welcome you in. We want you to like and subscribe. You can find us on beyondtheblastdoors.com, on YouTube at Beyond the Blast Doors. And man, we had another great week last week of content.
Yes, we did.
We had Scott Kinney last week, which was just so much fun. Probably going to twirl off into some new stuff for us later on with him, and we'll get back to that in just a second. But Around the Galaxy had Kevin Scott on. If you haven't gone to watch and listen to that guy talk about a real Star Wars fan who writes Star Wars canon, and he's right there in our faces on Beyond the Blast Doors Network. It was so much fun, and not even to show that up, we had Mac DeMarco on Bombad Cast. Interviewed by Scotty and J-Ro, and it was phenomenal. So some great content. We had, what was it? The Galactic podcast was on Postcards from Around the Galaxy. I mean, just a good week. Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge. Sorry, I'm getting both my pods mixed up there. Anyway, there's so much, it won't matter. You'll forget all our names anyway, and you'll just listen to it and enjoy it. But
And then we finished off the week with Clayton Sandell on the ABC correspondent for all Star Wars news on streaming Star Wars with Pete, with Ammo and Fletzer. So
yeah, and Ammo is on like 3 other pods. I mean, it's we're busy. We're busy. You'd think we'd be getting paid for this, but no. Anyway, thank you for supporting us. You can pay us by liking, subscribing, and hey, if you're on Apple Podcasts, give Hollow Chronicles, like a rating, like a 5-star, or, and if you don't like it 5 stars, and, send us a DM and we'll try and fix it for you. But other than that, help us out. We're shooting for the stars here. We're going for.
What's the goal?
The goal is, here's the goal. And we're just going to put it out there. The goal is Star Wars Celebration panel.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not us?
Why not
us?
Why not sit there and talk and look like idiots in front of a live audience?
I mean,
Instead of hiding behind our microphones.
Before.
Yeah.
We haven't done that before.
No.
I mean, there's got to be a couple people there that like toys.
There's got to be a couple people walking down the aisles there that like toys. But yeah, again, thank you so much for sharing, liking, and subscribing. But Andy,
Josh, we have to shout out a follower of ours because it's nice. It's nice when people follow us and we feel like we're putting something positive out there. But every now and then we get something back, unasked for, but super appreciated. And so we got to give a shout out to Nick, our Alabama buddy. And he sent us something. Josh, you have a picture of it there to pull up?
I don't, but that's okay. I thought you had it with you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I posted a picture of it on Twitter, so we can refer to that.
Sure.
He just sent us a little gift, and I appreciate Nick, and we're getting to know Nick a little bit in the last probably month or so, and
there it is.
He's kicking. Hey, there we go. Yeah. Side note too, if you're listening on an audio platform, this might be a great a podcast to watch on YouTube because, we will occasionally put up pictures anyway, whether, no matter what the podcast is, but we're going to do a little unboxing and a reveal to something that I got recently. And so that's not going to make for great audio, but it's going to make for awesome visual.
Yeah, and don't worry, I'll do play-by-play, though, because right now on the screen, we've got a Millennium Falcon. Now tell me, Andy, you're the one that has this in hand.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture. I've only seen the picture. So is this like a 3D printed Falcon, do you think? What is this?
No, I believe it to be a Millennium Falcon toy of some sort.
Oh, okay.
But it's not. It's about maybe a foot long.
Oh, okay. So that's probably the inverse there is what I'm seeing. Okay. Yeah. About a foot long. That's cool. So it's a Falcon. And then in the middle is an emblem. And what is that emblem?
The emblem is our Holochronicles logo right in the middle of, it's a black painted Millennium Falcon.
There you go.
With a blue Holochronicles logo, right? Painted almost taking up the entire top side of the Millennium Falcon, but it's very cool. Thank you, Nick, very much for that. That's very much appreciated. So thanks.
That's going on the pod table when Andy and I get to finally sit in the same room again. So yeah, very cool. Along
with our Mace Windu pilot figure from
the purple saber and everything. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that with us, Nick. We appreciate it.
All right, Josh, we have a show me your collection that I need to get to here.
All right. A little show me. Here it comes.
Show me your collection.
So if you have been listening, we interviewed Scott Kinney last weekend on our episode, and he regaled us with story after story about his experience working on Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest television show, and from his own collection. He's a big time toy collector of many different kinds of toys, not just Star Wars, but he said about 25% of his toy collection is Star Wars. And so just to kind of put a bow at the end of the week on a great week of content, we featured his collection. And as Josh pulls up some pictures there, I want to remind you to go back and listen to that podcast because some of the stories are incredible. Just the interactions and, becoming, buddies with Mark Hamill was pretty awesome. Plus going out and seeing all these collections that were part of the television show itself. And then his own collector stories, which involved like Howard Kazanjian, big time producer. Maybe you've heard of him. He got an Emmy for producing Raiders of the Lost Ark. So among Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi as well. So not a shabby resume there, Mr. Kazanjian. But he had some wonderful stories for us. His collection, his Star Wars collection, is really cool. He has everything from boxed items to loose figures, and he had some really cool stories. He had a cool story about the AT-AT that he had and how it connected to, I think it was a cousin of his.
Cousin, yeah.
And again, the Sarlaac pit tooth, go back and listen to it. One thing that,
and by the way, in the picture, yeah, are you going to point that? Yeah, I didn't know if you were moving.
No, go ahead.
Right there in the picture, in the right here, you can see. I'm going to put the little mouse on it on YouTube there for you. It's right there. I can't zoom in. I want to zoom in so bad. You can on your phone. If you go and check out our Twitter feed, you can watch. You can look at this. Show me your collection. But I mean, that's Howard's signature on it.
Yeah,
it's so.
He just signed it.
Cool.
The Sarlaac tooth again. It's maybe a little over a foot long, and just the story how he got it is pretty cool. And I won't spoil it. Go back and listen.
Episode 37.
Episode 37. Yeah. One thing that you can see in this picture too, Josh, is there's that first 12 display stand.
Yeah.
And the Luke Skywalker that is on there is a double telescoping saber Luke Skywalker. So no big deal.
No
just
big deal.
A DT Luke hanging out there. But yeah, and if you go through our Twitter feed and find the post where we hashtag show me your collection for Scott, there's a lot of collectors. I mean, even you and I, we don't just have Star Wars. Star Wars is our main thing, but I have a little space devoted to some G.I. Joes. You have some Lord of the Rings, and Scott, his whole, I don't know what that room was in his basement, I think, but there are thousands of toys in there, some of which were Star Wars, but he said he had just about the entire run of Shogun Warrior.
The American run, yeah.
Figures. And so he is pretty proud of those, and a couple of pictures of that are on the feature as well. So do yourself a favor and go check that out. Give Scott a little pat on the back because his collection's pretty cool. It is literally floor to ceiling on all four walls in that room. It's pretty awesome.
And that's at Kid Cosmic, 2 Ks, right? K for Cosmic. Yeah.
Kid Cosmic, both with Ks. Yeah. Scott Kinney.
Very cool.
So thank you, Scott, for sharing. And as a reminder, if you have a Star Wars collection you'd like featured on our Twitter some Saturday, then DM us up to, we'll say 8-ish pictures.
It used to be 4. We're taking more now.
I know. Some people
have to. They're so cool.
I know. And here's a tease. The next 4 weeks of Show Me Your Collections are awesome. They're absolutely awesome. So again, we do that every Saturday, and we've got a month's worth of fantastic collections.
Preloaded.
But yeah, we're ready. But even if you have a little small collection, we like to see those too. So the next few that we're featuring are pretty big, but we want to see all shapes and sizes because everybody's into a little bit something different, and that's cool. Every collection's unique, and it's unique because you're unique.
Let me just remind everyone of something. This was a collector tip or at least a addition, and I love bringing it back up. I'll bring it back up like every 5th episode. I don't care. But I want you to look at the smile on Scott's face if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not, just imagine a big smile on Scott's face.
It is.
Here's what we get.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I love when Andy, we do have some big collections coming up. Obviously, this is a big collection we're showing and more. But it doesn't matter because what I loved is that, Scott put into one of the comments was, thanks for letting me share my collection. This is why we do it as collectors. It is very satisfying for us to walk into our own rooms or sections or shelves or whatever in our offices and look at those. And every now and then you stop and you pause and then you walk out and you don't realize that quick moment or glimpse at what you've cherished in a way, gives you that small moment of joy until someone says, hey, will you mind if we share that? And so I love that we provide a place for people to have that moment of joy. You know, look, his wife or significant other who's seen it, you know, no offense, but they don't care. But we care, you know, they don't care as much, let's say, as a fresh set of eyes. And so, yeah, small, medium, large collection, doesn't matter. Share it with us and we'll share it with the world. And you deserve it because you worked hard. So thank you.
Yeah. And just to, again, wrap this up here. Not only, that smile on his face, that's why we do this, but that's also the reason why Scott was an executive producer on Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest, because they just went and featured massive and unique collections of, you know, and it wasn't all Star Wars, but just different kinds of, you know, just different kinds of collections. That's why he did that. And that's why Mark Hamill wanted to be the host of that, because he's a collector too. And so it's like, we all have that in common. You know, if you follow the Holo Chronicles, you're into toys and collectibles and in some capacity or other, even if it's just like, oh yeah, I remember when I had those, and we all share that, and that's cool. It binds us together like the Force.
There you go. All
right. We'll move on now. Actually, this kind of does have to do with it too, because today on Twitter, I put up a question. Speaking of collections, I put up a question. I said, hey, I need my man cave, my Star Wars themed man cave to have a name, because I kind of want to put a little sign above the door, like, you know, you're about to enter, you know, not the Twilight Zone, but, you know, something Star Wars themed. So I said, help me, Twitter. You're my only hope. And if you wouldn't mind, Josh, I'd like to read a few. I want you to, because I also want you to tell me are you deciding tonight? Is that what's happening? I don't think I'm deciding tonight. There were 46 responses, which is awesome. Thank you. But there were some really good ones that, so I want you to narrow it down. So I go ahead and read off. I know you're already reading off what you like already, but I want you to narrow it down to top 3 right now. Okay. And we'll shout those people out. Well, you know, good buddy Matt had like 10 that he shared. The Outrider Outpost, I like that. Okay. The 12th Ewok, that's a Seahawk reference. Gotcha. The Sarlaac Pit, the Wampa's Lair, I like that. Tashi Station, Chopper Base, the Toydarian Toy Trove. Yeah. It's a Watto reference there. The holodeck. That's from David. David, the holodeck is more of a Star Trek thing. And He acknowledged it. He put the sci-fi crossover, and I get it. He put the GIF of everyone kind of thinking about it on the Starship Enterprise. We're okay with that. Yeah. Echo Base, you know, all right. The Masasi Temple. I like that. Jedi Junk Room. I've got a couple if you want me to put a couple out there. That I Dago Bro was good. That one was a good one to me. Yeah, I really liked. I thought that one was pretty fun. And then I had one more I really liked. You haven't said it yet. Mantooine. Mantooine. Mantooine is really funny to me. Yeah. I don't know. The Cargo Hold, Watto's Workshop, the Sarlaac Pit. Mantooine. Mantooine just rolls. I got to be honest. That one's a front runner for me. The Mos Eisley Mantina. That was pretty good too. Michael Phelan, yes, and Geek Ned Nick with the Mantooine. Mantooine for Greek Ned. Mos Eisley Mantina. That one was pretty solid. Oh man. The Bombad Bunker. Somebody just put basement. The basement, yeah. The Sabak Pit. Yeah. The throne room. Yeah, the Mos Eisley Mantina. Mace Windu do not enter. Yes, Mace Windu do not enter. That might be for my kids, definitely. Cell Block 1138, Manshik, the throne room. Man, it's all good. Yeah, I don't know how you choose. 94. Yeah, I don't know.
How are you still waiting for another name? I mean, what are you looking for?
There's just so many good ones, Josh. I thank you, Twitter. You did not disappoint.
Thank you, Holo Chronicles followers is what I want to. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, right here. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm a big fan of Mantooine. That's it. I'm just a big fan of Mantooine. Yeah, it just is perfect.
Mantooine, like Dan Tooine.
Right.
That was a bright spot in the day of a lot of shoveling. So thank you for that, Twitter. I appreciate it. Josh, I believe you have today's collector tip. So I do turn this over to you.
All right, let's give it a go.
Hello, what have we here?
Collector tip.
All right, so we had a question on YouTube a couple episodes ago, and I wanted to address it. We had a couple things come up in our last couple pods, so we didn't get to it. But the question was a good one, and I wanted to make sure that we kind of recognized it here. I'm going to read it for you in just a second. But really, it came down to, it was kind of a question about, I don't know, they're not variants, they're called errors, right? So errors in collecting. And the question was, and it even starts, and it's from, who would want this name is the name of the person who posted it. And it says, okay, so legit question here. I bought a Gen Urso Black Series because I found out they had labeled the box Sergeant Jyn Erso. Then never gave her a rank in the Rebellion in the film. So I thought they would fix that, and these would become a limited run of mistake items. A bit like the early Revenge of the Jedi poster, but not nearly as cool. So as far as I can tell, I think they never did reprint the boxes for her. So does anyone know if these end up being rare or not? So that was a great question because, as a matter of fact, I have a Sergeant Jyn as well. I think I left it upstairs. Anyway, I have a Sergeant Jyn. I had the picture of it, but we'll just go with it here. And I pulled it down and looked at it. I was like, yeah, I don't recall her getting a rank designation either, right?
No, not in Rogue One.
Not in Rogue One. So that led me to think of, and we did this a few episodes back, and that led me to think of when I got, and the Black Series Luke, Yavin Award Ceremony Luke Skywalker, which is how they spelled it. That I think I do have. So Skywalker, and that's the same thing I thought who would want this name is, here he is. Here's Mr. Skywalker.
Yep.
So I saw that error and I was like, wow, I'm buying that. Now, my initial response was, they probably don't care. They're moving on. They did Luke Skywalker. And while I bought it with the same thought, I'm not sure that it will have any additional value because I don't think they're going to fix it. It's just kind of a limited run. However, I ordered the Wave 3 Black Series case, which came with, I think that's what it was, Wave 3, which came with another Yavin Ceremony Luke, and he is corrected. He's Luke Skywalker. So I don't know, I guess, we're trying to answer a question. The answer that I would have for that is a couple. One is possibly later on. I think it would take time. As let's say that the Luke Skywalker Yavin Ceremony figure became very popular, or the Luke Skywalker figure was really a pretty limited run, but there were still a few at Walmart and Target kind of sitting on the shelves. So I don't know. It's all going to come down to supply and demand. If you're looking for a yak face in this scenario, probably not. But if you are looking for, they're both labeled number 100 in the Black Series line. If you are looking for something unique to your collection where you can look, you can say, look, I have a Luke Skywalker and a Luke Skywalker, an error, then I think it'll add value down the line to people that like to really flesh their collections out. So if they're extreme Black Series collectors and they're really trying to check all the boxes, then absolutely. Is it going to raise the value through the roof? Probably not. But is it cool? Absolutely. It's 100% cool. It's a fun story. like I said, we talked it up and laughed about it a few pods ago because it was silly, and then back to the Sergeant Jin. Probably not. I don't think there's going to be an additional value right now, but it could be later on. If you think about the orange and it was the blue series or whatever line of those are done. You're never going to see those again. Black series is continuing on. They're still making more, but if you have anything in those series, they're worth more than when you bought them for the most part.
And Josh, how do you know that? How do you know? Where do you go to?
So in researching, yeah, exactly. So in research, good segue. Thank you, Andy. In researching this, I found, or I had found before and hadn't fully utilized it, but went back to it. A cool website that you can actually take your collection and catalog it by the number. And before they had numbers, you can just obviously take the names, and that website is called, I'm sorry, I switched pages on myself. Go ahead, Andy, hit it if you got it.
It's called actionfigure411.com.
Yeah. So if you go to actionfigure411.com, you can select, and they specialize in the Black Series, 6-inch and 3 3/4 figures.
Josh, you want me to just give you a rundown of what this website will do for you?
Yeah, go for it.
So in the Star Wars line, it will give you a price guide and a visual guide, so you know what what figures you're looking at here. For Black Series, 6-inch and 3 3/4 inch, as well as vintage collection and then variations, knockoffs, exclusives, Hallmark ornaments, titanium series, elite series, and that's just for Star Wars. It will also, if you go to the Marvel Legends, it will do the same for that, and Transformers Masterpieces, as well as a brand new series called G.I. Joe Classified, which there's only 6 figures for so far. But if you have any of those, I would highly recommend actionfigure411.com to go check out what you have, catalog it. It's a good way to keep organized too of what you have. And then it'll kind of tally as you go what the estimated value of your collection is worth.
Yeah, you're able to check off. So, like I said, most of the Black Series are numbered. The ones that aren't are very easily distinguishable. And you can just put a check mark in saying that you have that, and it will give you the average price. I think it uses eBay as kind of the gauge for its pricing there, and it gives you kind of the over under on. All right, you paid $19.99 for this; it's worth $9.45. That's Director Krennic at this point. So yeah, you're negative $10 on that guy if that's what you bought him for. However, there's some very interesting figures on there. Qui-Gon Jinn, who was number 40 in the Black Series, he's worth $70 now. So obviously a $50 swing there. So it's just really kind of fun if you're into the Black Series. I don't want to go too much down this line because not everybody collects Black Series, but there's plenty of gauges online that will give you kind of these values. This is the first one that I found that really, gives you kind of that cool value. The one I really liked, and it's one that we actually featured on a pod. It involved collecting and running around, collecting, acquiring for collecting. And we had to go to Targets and be there early and open boxes with the staff and all this stuff. And that's the white box Mandalorian, which we got for $19.99 or whatever when we bought it. And it's now worth $163. So, I mean, you think about that, not that we're in it to sell, but we're not scalping anything here, but when you look back and you're like, wow, that investment of time and fun was pretty cool. Now, of course, there's others that go the other direction, but
it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was way worth it. So, anyways, actionfigure411.com, great place to go. And that will help you if you're one of those spreadsheeters or whatever that really track your collections. This is a great way to find some value. I priced out my collection, was really surprised at what it was worth, So
yeah, and that's the sticker price when it was released,
right,
versus the average price of what it's going for now. So when you said the Qui-Gon is going for $70, that's on average, it's going for $70.
Right.
So if you can find it for under $70, then you'd be getting him for a good deal right now, based on current trends. So.
And it could help you price out a collection that's being privately sold if you're finding it on OfferUp or eBay or whatever. I mean, it's a good way.
Craigslist.
Yeah, Craigslist. A lot of guys, they may not know what they have, or they may think they have more than they have. And it's good. I met a collector once, as we can lump this in. I met a collector once who was selling some stuff, and he used a different price guide from another site, but it made me feel more comfortable with his price. That's what happened. Is he said, "Hey, go here. This is how I'm pricing it out." So it was a very honest, straightforward. And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? That's a fair deal at fair market price." And of course, as a collector, I'm buying it for happiness, satisfaction, and maybe it'll be worth more if I decide I'm not collecting those anymore. So there you go.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for the collector tip. Great website.
Yeah, great website. I do have one more little add-on I want to give. This is a funny one. So as you're buying things online and you're looking at pictures, what was the most wildly sought after figure after The Mandalorian was released that wasn't available?
Black Series?
No, just anything. We'll take it in any after episode 1 of The Mandalorian.
Anything?
What was everyone looking for as far as a toy?
Anything child related.
Anything child, yeah, the child, Baby Yoda, aka. So I did that too, and I dove on and I went to, gosh, I don't know if it was Hasbro Pulse, but I found, the first Black Series Baby Yoda, and in the picture I was like, let's just do it. I'll pre-order. I'll get it. Well, maybe it was Entertainment Earth. Well, everything shows up like, you pre-order, it says May, maybe you get it in May, maybe you get it before. Well, this one showed up in May, and I think I sent the group, our collector group, a picture here, but I received the Baby Yoda. And in the picture, it didn't look like this. He was so small. He was so tiny. Like
the Christmas tree ornament.
He showed up. I remember the box was small, and I'm like, oh, what's the heck's in there? And I opened it up, and it's the smallest child you've ever seen. Not that I'm disappointed, but I was just kind of laughing at it. Like, they literally used 3 cents worth of plastic to make this little guy, and here he is in my. You know what?
They still charge.
He's in my collection.
$15 though.
You bet. Collector tip: don't trust the pictures.
yeah, may not be to scale.
Items in mirror are closer than they appear. There it is.
That's funny. All right, Josh, it's time.
All right.
This news dropped. Was it Friday?
I don't know.
I think it was Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. It's the news. Hit the drop. All right. Cause I need to get this out, and I apologize in advance if I peak the audio, because I may get a little excited.
All right, here we go. I'll warm you up.
Star Wars news.
It's got the klaxon and everything. Thanks for warming me up, Josh. Thanks for being my Star Wars fluffer.
Oh, no.
All right. The news, the only news from this week, in a week that had a lot of cool stuff, including Mother's Day.
Yes.
But the news, Josh, that we're here to talk about has to do with the picture over your left shoulder there. Your friend, Temura Morrison, Temura Morrison, it's been announced that he has a role in The Mandalorian season 2. Josh, do you know what this means? Hey, that's pretty good. This means a lot of people thought, oh, Ahsoka's going to be in it. That must mean Rex is going to be in it.
No.
And who would be Rex? Well, of course, it's going to be Temura Morrison, the face of every clone in the history of Star Wars movie. I don't know. Finish my statement. I don't know.
No. I don't believe any of that. I'll give you my reasons in a minute, but go on.
Django essentially fathered millions of clones through his genetics.
Right.
Therefore, Temura Morrison could play literally a million different people, millions of different people.
He's played more roles on any movie than anyone ever.
Anybody.
Yeah.
In any movie ever.
CGI or otherwise.
So he could be Rex. He could be Cody. He could be anybody that's still alive. Gregor, Wolf. I actually don't know if Cody's still alive, but we come up with a really cool plot twist that Ahsoka bumps into Cody. Cody's bummed out that he turned against the Jedi after all these years, but sees Ahsoka and somehow wants to kill her because he's still got the chip in his head. So anyway, that's just my little, I don't believe it's going to be any clone or Rex.
Okay, good.
Or any.
You want me to tell you why I don't believe that? Are you ready?
Lay it on me, Josh.
And I won't go to where you're going yet. But here's why I don't believe it's any of those things. Temura was the live action actor for Django, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, the clones and their, when their helmets off, right? During the live action movies.
Correct.
Rex, Commander Cody, as far as I know, maybe there isn't a reference to them outside of Return of the Jedi when we think the bearded white guy is Rex. Those are all Clone Wars characters. Not right. They're not voiced by Temura, right? No, that's a different voice actor, isn't it?
In the movies, like when a clone speaks.
No.
Like,
I'm talking about in Clone Wars, the animated series.
The cartoon. Yes, correct. That's different actors.
So there is no reason, and I have twofold here. There's no reason why they would have to get Temura to do that, other than it would be an excellent tie-in, obviously, to the original clone. And
he looks like...
He does. They modeled after him. I get it. Yeah. No problem. Right. Second reason, there's no freaking way Filoni and Favreau are like, oh, let's piggyback on the Clone Wars storyline. There is no way. There's no way. No way. Especially given that they probably had a little bit of insight into how season 7 was going to go, et cetera, for the Clone Wars. That is a separate part of this story. And there is no way Temura is coming back for one reason and one reason only. And what is that?
Boba freaking Fett lives.
Boba Fett. And that is the spurs clinking on the ground, a little bit of foreshadowing. What was that? Episode 4 or 5?
It was the one with that goofball in it.
The bad bounty hunter. You're right.
Yeah. How, Josh? Okay. Boba Fett might be my favorite Star Wars character, and has been my whole life. He was the first figure I got when I found 3 figures on the beach in San Luis Obispo, California. I found 3 figures: a Chewbacca, a C-3PO, and a Boba Fett.
That sounds like a great dream. I was on the beach in San Luis Obispo and I found Boba Fett.
And I was building sandcastles. I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was building sandcastles and I unearthed them.
Oh,
okay.
Were they in a sand, right? And when you dug Boba up, was he in a pit, so to speak, when you dug him up? Like a pit?
I love sand. Okay, so Boba was like the first figure I got, and I thought he was cool because he had a rocket in his backpack, So like, of course, I thought he was cooler than C-3PO, who was gold, and that was cool. And Chewbacca, because he looked like Sasquatch, being from the Pacific Northwest. I knew who Sasquatch was at a very early age.
Sure.
But my first figure, I've loved him. There are Boba Fett fan clubs, over the last 40 years that have been around. You go to any Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and you type in Boba Fett and just a ton of stuff pops up. And
one of the prototypes is the most valuable vintage figure there is.
Right. The rocket firing. Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay. The whole reason the TV show Mandalorian is so freaking cool is because of Boba Fett. And if you're going to tell me, no, he died in Return of the Jedi, that can't be Boba Fett. He's dead. He's gone. And we have friends that believe that and hold to it, right?
Right.
But if you think for a second, Dave, the Master Filoni, and Jon Favreau, who's overseeing this Mandalorian project, isn't going to bring back the reason why this show is so popular, then you're nuts. Boba Fett, even if he's on screen for 5 seconds in a background shot, it's going to freak people out. I'm already freaking out.
He's already been on screen, bro. He's already been on screen. Sorry.
Right. The clinks.
The clinks.
The boots.
There's no reason for that. There was no explanation for that scene. They do not, these directors, there's no explanation for that scene. No. None whatsoever. No. Even when we watched it, I think my daughters were like, did the Mandalorian come back? And I'm like, ha 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 ha. No, but someone in their armor did.
Somebody who looks a lot like him did.
But I love your point. I love your point. Let me just elaborate on your point really quick. I love your point. No one gives a damn about the Mandalorian without Boba Fett in that armor and all the lore that supports it. And then we go back and now Rebels has now Clone Wars has Mandalorian. We care about that species. I think you and I joked, we wouldn't be watching the Twi'lek, right?
Yeah. The Rhodians.
The Twi'lek.
The Trandoshans.
No.
BD. No. Nope.
It's only through the love of the Fett that Mandalorian even exists. And again, I will point out, there's no way Filoni, even though it's his baby, the Clone Wars, I get it. And he's pulled a bit from it. There's no way he's going to take from his own lore, from one category and throw it into the other by throwing Rex back in. I mean, I love Rex, and I know Rex, and I haven't watched season 7. Again, I have to admit, I know Rex has a ton of love right now.
100%. And for me, Rex is a top 5 character in all of Star Wars.
Right.
For me, I love Rex. He's awesome. But like you said, there's no reason to put the clinking boots in that episode if they weren't foreshadowing something bigger for season 2. Season 1, the big thing was Baby Yoda, or the child. Apologies. And
Baby Yoda's fine.
And this was a group of people that had the foresight enough to keep that spoiler free until the reveal. And it blew everybody's mind. You don't think they've got a big idea for season 2? What bigger idea would there be? I mean, I know there's Dark Saber. There's Ahsoka, right? Those
fine.
B level. Okay. Compared to Boba freaking Fett showing up. And that's no disgrace to Darksaber lore going back a thousand years. That's no disgrace to how popular and how great a written character Ahsoka Tano is. But as universally loved having Baby Yoda in season 1 is, and he will be in season 2. Well, I'm saying is a he. I'm assuming he's a he. It could be a she.
Who knows?
Who cares? I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
It looks like a little boy to me. I got to be honest. They didn't put like pink on his frock.
That's so 1950s, Josh.
I get it, but here we are.
He's green. Oh. Anyway, what would be bigger? Like
nothing. Nothing. I mean, here's the only counter argument I can put to it being Boba. The only thing, and this might be where we could be a little let down. I think you and I talked about this before. The only issue with Boba showing up in The Mandalorian is that he would overshadow the Mandalorian, with the exception. And right now we've got the Darksaber and the Evil Empire, polo chicken guy. That's the main,
Moff, are you talking about Moff Gideon?
Yes, I know. Every time I see him, I just think Breaking Bad, polo chicken, polo chicken's like pretty redundant. Sorry. But anyway, the only reason that Boba it might be a stretch, and I think they can do it right, and I don't know how that's going to be because I'm not the writer, but is because he might overshadow the Mandalorian. However, I can counter my own argument by saying that's almost what the child did. Yeah. Because think about it. No one's buying miniature pre-order sets of the Mandalorian in a hopes that it'll just be anything the child.
Yeah.
I mean, he was upstaged by a little green dude or whatever. So they may not give a damn who upstages who, because especially if Mando and Boba go at it at any point, or if like,
okay.
Here comes theory.
Josh, would you, that's a question. Would you rather see them fight each other or team up?
I don't want them to team up. I still think, because I still like that the Mandalorian takes a page out of Boba's book in that he's a loner, right? Like Boba was a loner in Slave One. He sat out in the asteroid field. He looked for the Falcon to get dumped out of the garbage. Well, whatever he was doing, he wasn't
Josh, in the Clone Wars animated, he had a crew. When he was younger, he had a crew.
I know he had the crew. He's little baby Yoda, but he didn't have the armor.
Mando's building a crew too, so.
But he still gives out that loner-esque
lone
vibe.
Wolf. Right.
So two lone wolves. Look, there's always an alpha. So who's the alpha? So I think it could go the way of the Mandalorian. The actual Mandalorians want their armor back from the imposter bounty hunter. I don't know. I'm making that up. Who knows? It just doesn't matter because it's Boba. It's not Rex.
Boba, it's Boba.
Boba.
It's Boba.
And we all know that. And we're not giving away anything. You guys all think and guess that. And the only way you're going to try and be creative is to come up with other theories, and they'll be wrong.
Well, I mean, it would be super easy to just have him be a remnant clone trooper.
Okay, but they run it. Why would they release it then? Why would they say he's in it?
At this point, it would be such a huge letdown. If he's anything like, okay, Rex, all right, I can get behind that.
I'm down. All right, I'm not that disappointed.
I'm down with that. If it's just a average run-of-the-mill clone trooper that they just came across, I mean, it could be a part of a cool story or whatever, but it's just going to be like, huh? What? Why would you do that? Why would you get our?
Why would you waste my friend Temura on a random stranded clone trooper and put him in a beard? All right, no, I want battle Sarlaac scars. I mean, why did he walk up? He walked up on that. I mean,
clink.
That's our boy.
That's our guy Boba. So,
and Josh, if Maul can come back from a complete.
No one's ever really gone.
Right.
That is now canon. So
they said you can live for 1,000 years in the Sarlaac. I mean, why? How can nobody can live for 1,000 years except Yoda? But I guess if you jump into a Sarlaac sack, you're good for 1,000.
You're going to get digested. Over
the fountain of youth is no. Over 1,000 years, but I think you stay alive. I think it said it.
Over 1,000.
I made that up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Josh, this segues into the last part here. And again, this is where if you're not watching on YouTube, you're going to want to push pause, go over to the YouTube page, Beyond the Blast Doors, find our video for episode 38.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Go ahead and hit the alert button so you know ahead of time. I got something for part of my collection as a big Boba Fett fan. I was made aware of this a few months ago. Some of you might remember the story about me getting a Return of the Jedi carded Boba Fett vintage figure. And the guy who I made the trade from, I believe that was episode 35?
Yeah.
34,
35. Yeah.
It wasn't too long ago. The guy who I'd made that trade with and got the carded Boba Fett from He is the owner of the Star Wars store in Washington Square Mall, Portland, Oregon. And he let me in on a little project he was working on with his friend, Daniel Logan. Daniel Logan, as we all know, as most of us know, I think, who are listening to this pod, played the young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, who he's now 30, just over 30 years old now, I think, 30, 31, 32, somewhere in that age range. So Dustin is his name, and Daniel Logan, they're working on this project, and they were working together with EFX replica products to come up with a signature series Boba Fett helmet. Now, if you're looking at the EFX signature Boba Fett helmet, and you're looking at the new Black Series Boba Fett helmet that just released recently, in fact, I'll be getting mine, I want to say within the next week.
Yeah.
It said May of 2020, and we are in May of 2020. So it should be arriving anytime. And maybe I'll do a comparison. But they don't look too differently from a first glance. The EFX is about 4 times as much price-wise than the Black Series. But there are some differences once you have them side by side. Again, we can talk about that another time. However, what I wanted to do was I received this, what was it, a couple weeks ago, and it's just been sitting in the box because I've been waiting for an opportune time to show this, for me to even see it. And what better time than when Boba Fett is coming back to The Mandalorian season 2. Josh, there isn't a better time. So
This
we're
is
going
it.
to do
This is the time.
This is the time. So I'm going to show you first the box.
Ooh, I like the kind of the basic.
Right. So Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett. It's a
Precision crafted.
Yeah, and we got the Disney logo here. EFX obviously has to get permission from Disney to do this. EFXStarWars.com if you want to check out. If you just wanted to get the helmet by itself, you can do that. But the signature series, there are only 100 of these, Josh. Precision crafted replica. Okay, and then on the back, it got a little write up there about our buddy Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
So this is the box. Now I've pre-taken it out of the box. We're not leaving this one in the box, Josh.
Take it out and play.
We're taking it out and we're checking it out. It came with.
Now this is the
again.
Yeah. This is where it's fantastic.
So it came with a certificate of authentication from EFX because it is a signature series. This says that this is exclusively a certificate of authenticity, certifies this product is licensed and approved by EFX Collectibles, Lucasfilm, and Disney in exclusivity to Daniel Logan. So Daniel Logan is the guy who headed up this little project. And what I have here, the number, it's number 11 out of 100.
Lucky number 11.
So because I was talking with Dustin. Now Dustin partnered with him. He's the store owner. He partnered with him to do this. And he let me in on it. He said, hey, if you let me know in advance that this is something you want to get, I can maybe try and get you a number that you'd like, out of 100. And I was like, okay, well, here are my choices. I'll take any single digit number. And he's like, they're already spoken for. It's like, okay, then I want either number 80 out of 100 for 1980 when Empire Strikes Back was released, Or I want 78, which was when the character Boba Fett was first seen in Star Wars Christmas, the holiday special, and that's when the figure came out, was at the end of 1978. So either 78 or 80, or I would take number 11 because that was my basketball number in college.
So you got the one that is non-Star Wars related.
So he's like, I got you down for number 11. I was like, awesome. So that's how that came about, which is totally cool. And now, Josh, I'm going to
turn it on, man.
I'm going to activate.
Are you ready?
The sensor scope. Yeah, I'm ready.
Here it comes.
So you're going to get a little peek behind the curtain.
Oh, there I am. Hey, there's me.
Hey. Yeah, there's the laptop. There's my notes for the episode. There's my camera and my ping pong table. I do have a Star Wars blanket as a tablecloth. Star Wars on the table, Empire Strikes Back on the wall. But you can see that I've taken the helmet out in its packaging,
right,
and it's sitting on the table here. But if we go right above here, and Josh, I don't know if you maybe want to go,
got it.
Here. Okay, so here's the helmet.
Frozen in carbonite.
It comes in a 2-piece box with plastic here. And this will be me taking it out of the box for the very first time.
Wow.
So the paint scheme is awesome. These are just some things I'm noticing right away here. The paint job on it is awesome. The dent is cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And if only I had one more hand. You can see that it's kind of got like smudges, either that's dirt or kind of oil on the top here. But it's not just like paint's rubbed off, but it's dirty, right? It's lived in. Oops. Sorry about that.
How cool. So much detail on wow.
So there's like foam pads there that you can put in. And so this is, so I'm just seeing this. I did not notice this in here before. Let me swing around. But you see that?
Oh, wow.
It says Boba Fett, number 11 out of 100. And that is in Daniel Logan's signature.
Wow.
Daniel Logan wrote that. Again, he was the young boy Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, episode 2. And so he signed and numbered the helmet. I got a certificate of authenticity from Daniel Logan. And Josh, there are 2 more things. Oh, there's a little tab here that.
Right. Battery. Does it have power to that?
It does. It does. It lights up. There's a little. Okay. So this, I already kind of showed this already. It's the certificate of authenticity, but it also came with a letter of authenticity from Daniel Logan. And he kind of writes in here, what this is.
Right.
And how much he loves Boba Fett and is a fan. So he's not just like, he's another one of those guys that was a Star Wars fan, even as a kid, before he was in the movie. And then now is even a bigger Star Wars fan as a result. Again, signed by Daniel Logan. May the force be with you. But Josh, it still gets better than this.
All right. I know. I'm dying to see it.
Because not only is this a signature series because Daniel Logan autographed it, numbered it, and wrote a letter. Again, there's 100 of these. This one's number 11 of 100. But it comes with this. And oh my gosh, dude, this is so awesome. This is why it's the signature series.
Look at
Because
that.
all 6 men who have worn the Boba Fett suit on screen have signed this. Daniel Logan, who was in Attack of the Clones. Johnny Morton, who was a stunt guy for Empire Strikes Back. Mark Austin, who was in the special editions for a scene or two.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just watched those.
The man himself, Jeremy Bulloch, the original Boba Fett, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Dickey Beer, Return of the Jedi stuntman. And Don Bees, who was in the special edition Return of the Jedi. So all 6 guys to ever wear the Boba Fett suit signed this little plaque. And I'm going to get this, it's in the plastic still, but I'm going to get it mounted on a nice little piece of wood to make it look official. But man,
that's fantastic. That's like collector mecca right there.
It's what I would consider a holy grail item. Even though it's only, I mean, it just released like a few weeks ago. And if I'm not mistaken, there's still a few available. Now, this is not a cheap purchase. If you're interested, if you're curious about what all of this might run you, and maybe might want to get one, go to the StarWarsStore.com. And Josh, I'm going to click it back over. Go ahead and click it back over to the screens now. But yeah, you can inquire. I'm not sure if there are any left. The last I heard, which was a few days ago, there were still a few left. But these are being sold out of the Star Wars store out of Portland, StarWarsStore.com. If you're interested, make inquiries at that website. But, and I didn't know this until recently, but Daniel Logan is selling 50 on his own with a green signature line. All right. The one that I got was black signatures, black pen. Well, Daniel is selling 50 on his own through his Instagram page. And there's only 50 of those, where there are 100 of the one that I got. And they're a little bit more in price too, but there's also half as many. So if you're interested in that at all, I know earlier in the week, Daniel posted that there was something like 11 left of the green signature line. But those are only being bought or purchased through his Instagram page. So
very cool. I mean,
it's totally awesome. I have been super psyched about this for the last couple months, knowing that it was on the way, and it's now that it's here, I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
Will you put the helmet on? Oh, you locked it.
Yeah, I'll put the helmet on.
Let me see.
Absolutely.
I want to see it. Will you put it on?
All right. I'm
you have to take off your headphones. All right. It's okay. I'm going to make fun of you when you can't hear me. Oh, look at that dork. Oh, good sir. Yeah. He's no good to me dead. Say it. Say he's no good to me dead. He can't hear me. It's all right. I did it for him. I'll dub it in. Gorgeous.
Whew. I felt like
how did it smell?
Right there.
How did it smell?
Smelled like a new helmet. I wonder if old Danny Logan, if he put that on before he put it back in the box.
He did.
He had to take it out to sign it.
And I slept in every one of them. Just Daniel Logan taking baths, fishing in each helmet. 100 days, 100 helmets.
You know, he kept one. You know,
of course he did.
Of course he did. He probably
Well, that
took
is
one of the-
fantastic. As a fellow collector, I know that you came to me with that, and I was really happy that you were able to get it. And again, my favorite collector tip: I am fully excited to enjoy it in your collection. I can't wait. It's so cool, though. I'm jealous. I'm very jealous right now, but I'm also excited to come over and see it in person. I mean, after this pandemic goes away.
if
Yeah.
So anyway, I got to give 2 shout outs. I got to give a shout out to Dustin at the Star Wars store for letting me in on it and getting me even a number out of 100 that I requested. So 11 out of 100. It's a pretty low number. So
that's really cool. I actually like 11. I think 11 is just a fun number. It's not, everyone's going to pick 7 or 13 or something, but 11 is just it's a prime number. So
the beginning of 1138.
Exactly.
There you go.
I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah, forget basketball. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't be happier. And the second shout out obviously goes to Daniel Logan, who, I'm told that if these sell out and it's pretty successful and there's a kind of a demand for it, that they might do another one, not with Boba, but maybe down the road, possibly with Jango.
Jango would be very cool. I think you'd get a lot of play out of Jango too. I think Jango is obviously not in the high, as high as Boba, but Jango's cool, man. I mean, that helmet's awesome.
And so it just circles back to Temura Morrison. So
Boba,
there we go.
My friend, I'll call. You know what? I'll just call him. I didn't have time for the pod, but
your buddy.
You can see us. There we are. There we are. We're just hanging out. Yeah. It's not like we're at a convention. This is how we hang out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like,
Danny, Temura, come over and bring your banner. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was super cool. Again, if you're listening to us, thank you for listening. But obviously, pop on over to YouTube and take a look at this beautiful piece that Andy has acquired. We like sharing them. We like sharing yours, and we'll share our collections too. You can find us at Holochronicles on Twitter. Like, subscribe, and go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating, would you? That would be so cool. Even if you don't listen to us initially on Apple Podcasts, or I guess if you don't have an iPhone. But man, I think that's how we're going to get to the panels. Yeah. Apple's too powerful for us to not get the ratings. So give us some ratings.
Yeah, you got to help us out, folks. You got to help us out.
And at Beyond the Blast Doors, beyondtheblastdoors.com. We love our new network. We love, the stuff that people are doing. I get anxiety about how cool all these other pods are because I'm like, what the hell are we going to do? Thank God that you brought an awesome helmet this time. I have no idea what we're going to do next week, though.
I do.
Okay,
we're gonna have a great guest on next week.
Perfect. All right, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening. This has been the Holochronicles. We'll talk to you soon.